So, back with another video teaching about the MPC One, showing you how I do things, which some people may think is unorthodox, what have you. Some people may think it's the regular way to do it, but this is how I do it on any MPC. I love the workflow with the MPC One. So let's just get into it. I'll start with an empty project. I'll load up a sample, melody, and I'll just put some drums to it and get a little basic beat going for you on the MPC One.
Sheesh! Prophet got them fire beats.
First, you gotta go and load your stuff up. For me, it's on an external, so it's in samples here, and I got all kinds of stuff in here. So I'll pick something. Select your pad that you want to put this sound on. Hit load. It goes there. So it's there. Moving on. I know I'm going to use that for this. I'm not going to load anything else in here unless I need like an 808 or something at the end. So I move on to loading sounds that I want to use for the beat itself, which this row I usually use pads 9 through 12 for the hi-hats. This row right here, pads 5 through 8, I use for the snares or claps, and then the bottom row I use for kicks. Sometimes if I got a couple in here, I put some 808s on the end, or if I like a lot of kicks here, I like to fill my drum kit so I can feel it out while I'm feeling this melody out to see what drums fit the best. So inside this my sample thing again here, I got kicks and snares and hi-hats and stuff. So load, hit your pad you want to load, you hit load, done. Like this one, I'll load that like that and that. So kicks are loaded. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to select some snares. And maybe some claps. And now I'm going to try to find some nice hi-hats to use. Put my opens on the end. So basically now the kit is loaded up. If I go back to the main screen here, I'm working with something. So how I do this part in particular is I start with the sample on track 1. So this is sample, melody sample, whatever it is you're using. And I stretch this out to at least 16 bars to start with. Then I know that's my verse part. Sometimes afterwards I'll extend it to 24. But for now, I'm going to leave it at 16 bars. So I over here hit record and play at the same time. It's going to give you a countdown. Smash that pad as soon as the beat drops, and you can stop it immediately because it's recorded there already. So you so it's there. We bring this all the way back to the beginning again and hit press play. Okay, now we know tempo is 160 on that because I saw it on that melody itself. So easy, boom, 160. Now your tempo tap and your note repeat for your hi-hats is here just to make sure it sounds good. I'll bring it back, just play it So that basically tells you everything sounds good. So now you gotta feel a vibe and ride this melody out until you find exactly what you're looking for as far as a vibe. And then you can use it, you can use the tempo tab, but I like to do it by hand first. So they'll change up around after 8 bars, it changes up. So I bet this goes a little further. We can bring it to 24 bars and let it roll, see what happens. Keeps going. Back at the beginning. Alright, so I know we got a vibe. So then what I would do is, okay, bring it back to the beginning here. Go to the next track. The next track is going to be the kick and the snare, usually for me. Some people like to separate that down from, you know, just the kicks, but I feel like that's a really dry way of doing it. I like a kick and a snare, so. So I'm going to try to rock with something like that. So what I do is I'm on track 2, little countdown, and actually going to turn the metronome on for this. So that when it's recording, we hear a metronome, so I can kind of keep the beat or whatever. Okay. So boom, there's my drums, my kick and my snare. Okay, so now that that's in there, I'll turn off the metronome, or whatever. So I don't need that. So now I'm gonna lay down the hi-hats, and I like to mess with the timing while we're doing live, like switching between these timings, which is tricky, but you can do it with a little practice. While I'm doing the hi-hat, so I'll move to track 3 and then hit record and play again and be ready. Alright, so the metronome was on for that take, so I'm just going to undo that. Undo button is right over here. Or you can always record over it, also works. But so I'm going to retry that again. So the metronome kind of messes up the flow. So when I'm trying to do hi-hats. So here we go. Now the basic hi-hats are in there. And then I'm going to use track 4 to just put in some of these like little opens here and there just to bring a little flavor out of the beat. Probably around the ends, around 8, and around the end of 16, and the end of 24. So every 8 bars or so. Throw a couple of these in there just to break it up. So track 4, record. is, as you can see, I left the timing on triplet so that when I'm doing these and I feel like they're in the right place, this could be putting them in the wrong place because of how it's set up. So what you want to do before you go and lay more hi-hats is just make sure that's off. That way it'll actually be hitting on time and not off beat. So we're going to redo that again. This is a common thing that happens like all the time, but well, with me anyway. So there we go. So that's basically, I mean, you've now made a beat. If we want to go ahead and add some 808s in there, now would be a time. I didn't load any at the beginning of this, but if I go back over to browse and then find something in here that's got some 808s, what do we got? We got some right here. And just throw it here. Then you can 16 levels this and try to get the right key, which takes a little bit of time, but not that bad. So we go back over to main. Let's go back over. Let's go to track 5. It's a little loud, but we'll turn it down after 16 levels. At velocity, we want to do tune. So you go to tune, and then you got. You can add a little something in there. So let's play and see what we hear in here. So I like that. Probably something in this range right here is what I like for this. So now that I got a little vibe and whatever, I think I can roll with it. So I'll bring it back to the beginning, record, and play. Let's see what we get. Alright, so I messed up there a little bit. I don't really like how that went. You can always redo it. And now, since I know the bass is kind of loud, I'm going to turn it down a little bit so it blends a little better in with the mix. And then bring this back to the beginning and listen to it through. over how to kind of chop samples up and stuff like that, instead of using a full-on melody that you already know the parameters of and the key that it's in and all that stuff. But with this MPC One, it's actually very easy. So next video that I do, we'll kind of touch bases on that, and then I got some other videos where I'll play some beats I already made, show you what we can do on this thing and just the vibe you can get with it. And yeah, so stay tuned for the next video.